G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game spawning in on the west side of the map. We've got Give You Anxiety on the French going up against him on the east side of the map. Don Artie playing the English. We have got a battle of two of the biggest titans right here. The English versus the French. The Dutchman up against the American. These guys are Age of Empires 3 legends. If you have been around Age of Empires 3, you would have heard these guys' names called out many a time before because GUA, if you're unfamiliar with him, he is an absolute beast when it comes to the English, the French, anything in any game. He masters those two civilizations in particular, and he is on the French today. He is going to be opening up with what appears to be a single scout opening. We compare that over to Don Artie. He appears to be doing the same thing. He's done a pretty decent job already with the early scouting, picking up the first triple sheep. We'll take a look at how GUA is doing. GUA heading down towards the south of the map. He's going to be looking to pick up his triple sheep. It is actually over here hidden away, so hopefully Don doesn't scout it out early. Don gonna lose his... Oh my lord, Don Artie, a minute into the game, loses his scout. GUA picking it off that early, and he is going to be able to find those sheep. He's going to be able to pick them up, and now GUA going to actually be able to get every single scout. I wouldn't be surprised if Don immediately trains another scout and tries to get over there. He knows these sheep are here. You can see him. He's absolutely... Oh, he would be so livid right now. Now, where is GUA? GUA needs to be heading towards this location and looking to steal those sheep. He can change their allegiance. He can potentially do it. So that's what we're going to look out for. We're going to see if he does it. It really doesn't look like he's doing that. He could just be thinking Don's probably not going to be going for a second scout, so Don might potentially actually get these sheep back. Look at him. The sheep are looming. They're just sitting by. He walks past the wolf, goes past the boar, and slowly into the middle of the map. I think he's actually going to get his sheep back despite losing them. So a little bit of a mistake there from GUA. Maybe he's got these, maybe he's got the jitters. Maybe he's not, maybe he's a bit nervous. And there's very good reason for him to be nervous. And you would have noticed definitely in the top right-hand corner of my screen, it is the Winter Championship that is happening right now. These two guys are vying for a position in that the final round. Well, not really. I think we're at the round of 64 at the moment, but you guys know what I mean. You know, it's about if you get the victory here, then you go through it and you can potentially get in the money. This is a big tournament. I think there's $20,000 on the line for this tournament right here. So it is important that with this tournament, you are victorious. But already, Don Artie going to be dropping down that council hall. No surprises there. We'll check in over on his opponent. School of Cavalry going to be going up for GUA. Now, this is a matchup that Don Artie absolutely loves. Don Artie adores this matchup. His mindset behind this matchup typically is I just want to keep my enemy in age 2 and I will eventually overwhelm them. That's essentially it. That's the way that he plays it. So I'd be curious to see whether he looks to achieve that or looks to go for that same sort of strategy. When it comes to GUA, GUA is the type of guy who likes to play age 2. I really wouldn't be surprised to see this game going to 27, 28 minutes and both players staying in age 2. Really would not surprise me at all. Now, keep in mind, this is a live game. I've got no idea how long this game goes for. Could be 7 minutes. It could be 70 minutes. So we could be in for an absolute cracker of a game, or it could be a very short and quick one. But I definitely enjoy this matchup. This is probably one of my favorite matchups. I do think the civilizations are quite balanced. Originally, I used to think that the French would come into this matchup feeling better than... Or doing a lot better than other civilizations, just because they start off with the School of Cavalry, and obviously you're training knights into longbows, which always feels like a good thing. But then, by the same token, the longbow does an extra damage over a normal archer compared to a normal archer. Sorry, when it's doing damage to the Royal Knight. In this situation, it actually looks like Give You Anxiety is instead going for Horseman. Now, this is very curious because he's got access to the Knight. It doesn't look like he's dropped down a mill just yet, so no professional scouts coming out for him at this stage of the game. And we do know that the French players love to go for professional scouts themselves, but going up against the English, it is something that you don't typically do. And look at this, Don Artie with the Dark Age farms. He's got 2 farms in the Dark Age. He is playing the English. He is going absolutely safe with this one. And I really love this play from him. So you might be wondering, okay, what's the purpose of going for such early farms? To give you a bit of insight as to why this is the case, you're essentially diversifying your food income sooner, which means that because you're on the farms quicker than you otherwise would be, it means that your sheep actually last for longer. And because your sheep last for longer, it means that you're able to have more villagers on food throughout the game. So I think it's a really smart move from Don. He's investing in his economy. That's what I look at this. That's what I see. So it actually looks to me like he is thinking about playing the long game. And this is really, really curious from Don. I think this is the first time we've actually seen this. I'm going to get us a nice little picture right there. This is quite literally, we've got the Dark Age farming coming in here for Don Artie. So Don throwing out some interesting strats, adding the 5th farm. What is going on here? He's got a couple spears out, standing on the wood line at the moment. He is really just going for this. Is this the next level farming strategies coming out from Don? But behind this, it looks like a couple horsemen and an archer defending the back of the base against the scout. I'm curious what Don is up to and what he thinks he's up to. And I'm pretty sure GUA is wondering the same thing. Now, GUA is obviously going to be able to go professional scouts if he wants to. And if he doesn't want to, he's still got access to plenty of food. GUA is one of those people. There's not a lot of people that do this. I see GUA do it much more than any other player. Goes out onto the map and grabs these deer, puts the mill down, will go out, grab this boar over here without too much of a hassle. He will be very happy to do that. He'll send 8 villagers out there. He'll let one of them die. He'll drop the outpost. He'll put down the mill. Very happy to do that. But he's got plenty of gold stacked up here. If he does want to go for professional scouts, he's going to be able to go for professional scouts. So we'll have to look, have to wait, have to see whether he does go that option. Obviously got the School of Cavalry able to be training out those scouts as well. And now we do see Wheelbarrow coming in for him. So that's going to be the first technology of the game, or first economic technology of the game for him. Scout coming in for Don. Obviously losing that first scout did impact him. It's essentially losing a villager just without having it killed. Got to be a bit careful on the backside of this base, Don. Obviously not a lot of line of sight from this position, and could very easily get that shut down. But GUA is getting scouted out quite well by Don on this front. Don is going to know exactly what he's up to. Interestingly, no aggression at this point in the game. 2 horsemen coming out that knight, or rather it's a scout, knight down a little bit further. Finally going to be coming out. Now keep in mind the knights are much more effective than the horsemen are against villagers, and the reason why is because they've got this big joust, or this big lance that they're going to have. They're going to utilize that. They're going to get off 29 damage. They're going to take 2 more hits and then they'll kill the villager. Or if you've got 2 of these knights, you can actually one-shot a villager. But we can see it coming around the back. Don's got absolutely no idea. The scout is doing all the scouting that it needs. And now this Royal Knight's about to run in. Don Artie has been alerted to it. The bell would have gone off, but that first villager going to take a couple hits. Actually making a little bit of a mistake there. Not sure exactly what happened. He did get the 2 hits off. That Royal Knight does indeed get out alive. But yeah, split the damage there between the 2. Now, a bit of a one thing to note, instead of having these villagers go out onto the furthest farm away, what you do is change them out. Get these 2 villagers here, or these 2 ones close, bring them out to the furthest farm, and then get these guys on the inside, because now when this knight comes back in, it's going to be able to get these hits off potentially on these villagers if you're not careful, like Don, who was quite careful. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that these villagers are closest to the town center, just so that they don't take damage. It was something I learned back in AoE 2. I remember when I was doing the build order, and it would always say, you know, the villagers that you lure the boar with, they're the ones that you want to build the farms with first. And that's part of the reason why. You want to keep them close to the town center so that they do not die. As long as the villagers got 1 health point, doesn't matter. Still going to be able to collect those resources. But once it goes down to 0, that's it. That's all she wrote for that bad boy. But behind this, it looks like GUA starting to mass up. A second mill going to be going down for Don Artie. GUA does spot that out. GUA probably scratching his head at this point, wondering what the heck is up with all the farms coming out from his enemy. Probably thinking, this guy's a noob. Well, let me tell you something, GUA. This guy is far from a noob. This guy, if I would say anything about Don Artie, he is an absolute... Oh my, you gotta be really careful of him. He is a genius. He took over the Age of Empires 3 world by storm. He took out one of the biggest, one of the most prolific players in Age of Empires 3 history, Kaiser Klein. Took him in a best of 5. I always talk about it because it was just such an impactful series. And I think after that, Don almost just quit the game. He's like, all right, well, I've done everything I wanted to do. I've beaten Kaiser Klein in a best of 5. And yeah, Don was really the guy that just sort of set the meta for everybody else. So I'm curious to see whether he's going to be able to set the meta with this same strategy here. Now that Royal Knight going to be coming back in. Got these low health point villagers on the back line. One of them does go down, so there we go. That's Don Artie making a little bit of a mistake. So first villager of the game to be going down, and now moving in down towards the south of his opponent's base. Looks like Don going to be opening up on GUA's villager. Takes 2 villagers out of his own. That spear going to be able to take out the scout. And now it looks like a couple archers going to be looking to pick off the longbows. He does have a larger mass. Horseman also going to be running in here. He does have the spears down to the south just to be safe. We'll have a look in the cinematic mode as now he brings them out in a lovely line formation. He is in the stealth forest here, so he's going to be able to fend them off, doing a great job here and just forcing them out. You can see GUA trying to focus down those spears, not having a lot of luck, and Don at the same time just going to be focusing down the bows of his opponent, but not in a really good position here for Don. The majority of those spears have gone down. He's got 2 that remain, including a scout. And unfortunately, it looks like he is going to get cleaned up here as those horsemen do look to connect. Keep in mind, in the most recent patch, these bad boys have been buffed up. 3 ranged armor on these bad boys right now because they have been fully upgraded. He's got the blacksmith back here. So he's got the +1 attack. He's got the +1 defense on the range. And now he's going to get the +1 ranged attack as well. He is in a great position. GUA looking incredibly strong at this point. The new buffed horseman is looking very good, very mean, and very capable in particular. So this is great to see from GUA, a really smart cleanup from him, and he's going to be able to take this early game by storm, leaving the score behind. You can see he's up by 350 points over his opponent and gives himself a nice little buffer here. So from this, what would I expect? I would expect GUA looks to take out these hunts up to the north. I would expect double mills to be thrown down here, and he would look to secure both of those. He's now got complete map control. He has obviously, you know, defeated his opponent's army, so he's going to have a significant window here, and that's exactly what he does do. So he's looking to take the first and the second hunt as all of these villagers begin moving out. We'll take a look at the villager count. He's up to 42. Keep in mind, he did lose 2 villagers, so 42 his opponent at the moment, Don Artie, sitting on 36. So GUA ahead by about 8 villagers, or 6 villagers rather, at this point. And now it looks like he is under attack. 1 villager going to be going down. A couple more villagers going to take a few hits, and they do manage to get inside safely that town center and getting there to safety, but unfortunately that 1 villager does go down, and now GUA has found himself a bit of a window because Don is going to be stuck in Age 2, and he's going to be stuck rebuilding this army, whereas GUA has got a very clear window to get up to the next stage, and you can see that's exactly what he is intending to do, and he knows that. So you might be wondering, what's the reason behind it? Why does he know this? Why is he thinking to do this? So the idea is he has cleaned up his enemy's forces. He knows that his enemy is going to need to rebuild those forces to stay in the game. Otherwise, GUA can push the issue because he's getting kept in the dark right now. Don has got no idea what his enemy's up to. He's got no scout. The only thing that he's got is this outpost, and that's it. GUA is keeping him in the base. GUA is forcing him off the wood line here. He's got absolutely no idea what his enemy is up to. He could be making units. He could be teching. He could be dropping a second town center down. There are all these things, but for GUA, or for Don Artie, not dying is the most important thing, and that at this point in time means making units, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So +1 coming in for Don, both ranged armor and ranged attack. No melee stuff just yet for him. No siege engineering coming out for him just yet. Hasn't gone for the setup camp just yet either, but has dropped down a second archery range, so really looking to hammer out those archers. Compare that over to his opponent, and at this point in time, we do have the age up going down for Give You Anxiety, and this is looking very good for GUA. I mentioned earlier that what Don Artie wants is he wants to keep his enemy in the second age, and if GUA does get up to the third age, which it does look very likely that he will, he's going to be able to go to veteran archers. He's going to be able to go to +2, and most importantly, he's going to be able to go to veteran royal knights, and that's going to mean that it's incredibly difficult for GUA to deal with that. On top of that, if GUA wants to, he can throw in a single mangonel, and the game is over. At least it's over until Don Artie reaches the third age, then Don Artie's fine. But in the second age, it is almost impossible to deal with an enemy who is going for mangonels. And now that GUA is about to click up to the next age, or rather about to hit up to the next age with that guild hall, we'll watch to see whether he looks to change it over to gold. That's something that we do see players typically do. But one thing to note is that food is a little bit harder to come by, so he might keep it on food at least initially and then look to change it over to gold a little bit later in the game. But now going to be adding in a siege workshop. That's exactly what he's doing, and I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see a market come in here. GUA got to be careful. A few villagers up here to the north, but Don Artie not going to find too much. He does know they are up here. He's got the scout out, going to be providing plenty of line of sight. But yeah, now he knows his opponent is up to the next age. I suspect he's probably going to have... He's got one or two thoughts. Number one, he's probably going to be siege engineering. Number two is fall back and try and get up to the second age, or third age himself as well. And I think once he spots out the mangonel, he's going to know that he needs to get up to the third age. It's going to be a longer game. He's not going to be able to finish it in the second game. It's just going to be almost impossible for you to stop the mangonels. First mangonel on the way now. Do we have a market out? I don't think we do. I think GUA's just had some god tier macro. Yeah, 38 villagers on wood at the moment. He looks like he's actually very invested right now in full mangonels. And yeah, he's got a second one queued up in here. He might need a second siege workshop. That's a lot of mangonels that are about to come out. Veterancy coming through for the Royal Knights. No veterancy coming through for the Archers just yet. We'll take a look and see. Yeah, opted to go for the veteran Royal Knights instead of the veteran Archers. I guess it does make sense with regard to the fact that he is probably going to turn this composition into Royal Knights plus mangonels. I think that's a really strong composition. It's difficult to stop because the only things that can really stop it are spearmen and crossbows, and mangonels counter those units very effectively, and as a result it means that you need to add in springolds, and they're always a little bit more difficult. GUA with the classic one Royal Knight raid. You know, back in Age of Empires 2, or rather Age of Empires 3, we used to see GUA do 3 Musketeer raids, 1 Longbow raids, and now he's on the French, he's just doing the 1 Royal Knight raid, and I think that's absolutely perfect. Just taking away APM from his enemy, forcing the army to reposition. You can see Don Artie just having to reposition his entire force. We've got 38 units coming back here, putting down the outpost just to give himself a little bit more line of sight. Now, at the moment, GUA is pulling ahead in score. He's up about 800 points, but I would just remind you that at this point, with GUA being up that many points, he's in the next age, and that's going to buff up his score a little bit more than what you would typically expect. So once the King's Palace is complete for Don, his score is going to be doing the same thing, going to be jumping up as well, probably not all the way up to 3k, but maybe, you know, 2.9k, 2.8k, that sort of thing. But now we've got the next mangonels rolling out. We've already got 2 out. Once the 3 get out, that is basically the GG number. If you can get 1 volley of those 3 mangonels off at the same time into the same area on top of those units, it's GG. It's just, there's no 2 ways about it. It is 100% GG. Mangonels, if there is a unit that can turn the tide of a game, it is the mangonels. And if there is a unit that can put a nail in the coffin, it's the mangonels. GUA now revealing those mangonels to his opponent. Now, he could have kept these secret, but I would actually say this is a bit of a mistake coming out from GUA. He didn't need to show these mangonels, and he has. He's shown 2 mangonels. And what is the immediate response going to be from Don? It should be a siege workshop of his own. And you can see that he's moving villagers now to the woodline for that. He's got a whole bunch of villagers over here. I would expect a siege workshop of his own, placed back here, nice and safe, and then springolds. My concern is that this landmark, the King's Palace, is on the front line, and it is an actual weaker landmark than most. Now, every other landmark in the game's got 5,000 health. Well, there are some landmarks that have got a bit more health than that, but this landmark has only got 2,500 health. You can't see it at the moment because it's got units inside. But unfortunately, that means that, yeah, now you can see, I'm actually going to be dropping down the market here, going to be selling off some of that food, buying some wood, and looking to get out springolds. But even just 1 springold should be enough. He does have quite a big mass down here, and going to be looking for a potential counter play towards his opponent's base. Maybe look to pick up another mangonel. There's the 3rd mangonel that's coming in now for GUA. He's doing quite a fair bit of damage here. King's Palace is going to be going down. Keep in mind, it's got that half health, as we mentioned earlier. So being on the front line doesn't feel good right now, and GUA going to have to be forced back off this wood line. We can see the veteran spearmen are coming through as well. Veteran longbows back here. And essentially what Don is doing is he's forcing GUA to go back. That's what he's doing. He is A, cutting off reinforcements. That's what he wants to do. And number 2, he's saying, come back. Come and fight me in your base, Don. Come on. And now you see, come and fight me in your base, GUA, and that's exactly what Don wants, and that's exactly what he gets. And now the mangonels have fallen back, but GUA should not listen to him. GUA should just continue on with the attack. That is the way to play it. But at the same time, you know, we've got the siege workshop that is coming down here. Only 3 villagers building it, so it's not particularly urgent. But this is the problem with showing those mangonels. Ideally, you want to keep those mangonels in a stealth forest, hidden, and bait your enemy towards them. That is the dream right there. And then you get off those big shots. But now we're going to see springolds coming out looking to counter these. Now, all he's going to need is 1 or 2 springolds, and that's going to be more than enough to deal with this. Ideally, 3 springolds is going to give him the 1 shot on those mangonels, but realistically, 2 should be sufficient. But now up towards the north, look at this. GUA doing a little bit of, or rather Don Artie doing a little bit of scouting with his outpost. I'm not sure exactly what the intention is here with this, but mangonels continuing to roll out around the map. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some springolds coming out from GUA in an attempt to have a little bit more superiority when it comes to his own siege mass, and indeed we do. So it's going to be springolds v springolds as well, but the mangonels are going to be in the mix. Oh, well, there's already springold out, so it's a 1 springold out. But keep in mind, when it comes to the springolds, Don Artie only cares about killing the mangonels of his opponent. GUA must kill the springolds. So it's really, he's happy to sacrifice his own Springles as long as he kills the Mangonels. That's what it's all about. Scout does go down. Mangonel's getting a shot off on those villagers. Not going to be able to take them down. Got to be careful here. The 3 Mangonels moving in as well. We'll head into the cinematic mode so we can begin to witness the Springles trying their best and taking off a shot on one Springald, getting the shot off on the Springald of Don Artie, and Don getting forced back at this point in time is firing off. Got a couple villagers getting pulled out, doing the right thing now. These Springalds will one-shot a Springald of the enemy. Don got to be so careful. These Mangonels are setting up. Oh my lord, that was so scary when they set up like that. First Mangonel does go down. Don doing a great job with the micro there and just being able to take that one out. Really want to keep those Springald on the front line for GUA, and I think GUA is probably going to walk away from this one realizing that whether he doesn't have the micro, whether he doesn't have the numbers, he probably just doesn't have the heals that his opponent's got. Now, keep in mind, Don's going to be able to heal up these units that are in here. So he's got the 3 Springalds. He's going to have villagers nearby ready to heal up. We actually saw him in the middle of that fight healing up one of his Springalds on the back line. Obviously, GUA not able to do that unless he actually looks to bring villagers all the way down. And now we can see GUA. Look at this. GUA actually beginning to put outposts across the map. So putting one down towards the south here, just giving him that extra bit of line of sight, and now looking to push upon his opponent up towards the north. It looks like he has run out of food, but going to be able to take out that boar. He's actually long distance mining the boar. Not the best situation for GUA. How long has he been doing that for? He's 1700 health or 1700 food on that bad boy. That's 250 gone. That's basically with wheelbarrow and survival techniques. That is one run. Quickly find it, Drongo. There, it's just the wheelbarrow that he's got. So probably done. They've probably done 2 runs from that. Springalds now, got to be careful. You can see the villagers are chasing them, looking to get those heals off, and that's exactly what they do. But keep in mind, when it comes to the mechanics between these two, this unit, it's going to be 1 shot to kill an, 2 shots to kill an enemy Springald. So if you're able to get 2 shots onto an enemy Springald, they're not even going to have an opportunity to heal that bad boy back up. But now it looks like GUA trying to poke in, not having a lot of success there, and going to be losing out 2 of those horsemen. The scout manages to survive, and GUA really looking to secure up the map control. Does finally put that mill down. Remembers yet to grab any of those economic upgrades. We'll actually take a look at the upgrades that he's got through so far, just so you can take a peek as well. So it doesn't look like the mining upgrade, the wood chopping upgrade, and the only upgrade so far that we've got is wheelbarrows. When it comes to his military upgrades, there you guys go. So it looks like he's got +2s on everything except for the insulated helm, which is the melee. Once again, trying to get in there. It looks like the King's Palace is going to be able to get up. We'll compare it over to Don Artie. We'll see exactly what his upgrades are looking like at the moment, as a scout looks to do some damage on the south. But it looks like we've actually got Chad armor coming through. Armor Chad, as I like to call it. Villagers, got to be careful here. They need to be running towards these spears as they do get caught up on the scout. Majority of these spears here trying their best to get in on top of these Royal Knights. Going to be able to do so successfully. GUA got to wake up. It does look like he manages to do that. Got 5 armor on these bad boys, but keep in mind, they're doing 32 damage a pop to these. So they got armor, but it's not really much to get through those spears. Going to be able to split them up, and this is exactly what he wants to do. And now these longbows going to be moving back towards the farms just to make sure that they stay protected. And GUA going to be looking to get 1 shot here. Got to be careful, GUA, as Don sets off and indeed looks to get the 1 shot off on the first and takes out the second one with a 2-shotter. So not too bad right there from Don Artie. I'd love to see Don maybe throw in a few walls here potentially. Maybe look to get a wall down here towards this position, just to try and control the narrative a bit, try and force those enemy units away from those extremities and really control where the fights happen, because he wants to keep it towards the front of his base where he's got these Springals. That's where it's really going to matter. More Royal Knights now running in towards the front of the base. Managed to take out a single villager. Or rather, I take it back. It looks like about 3 villagers fell right there. And now those spears going to be able to force them back. Those Royal Knights managed to get out alive and do survive. We'll be healing up with that chivalry. But we'll do a quick stock take. So Don sitting on 54 villagers at the moment. His opponent sitting on 77. GUA climbing the villager charts at the moment as his forces once again begin pushing out. Looks like he's doing the everybody in the same control group, or very close to it. But I want to see the upgrades. What kind of upgrades we've got here for Don. So no specialized pick. He does actually have tier 1 for lumber. He's got tier 1 for the food, and he's got wheelbarrow, of course. And then when it comes to his upgrades on his blacksmith. He's got +2/+2, but looks like we may have a potential fight now as the men-at-arms begin moving out. They do have the Chad armor on. Got to be careful of them. They could potentially push in. Springold's going to be trading out with the enemy Springolds, and GUA in a really decent position here. This is exactly what he wants to do. I would just love to say, if there's developers watching this, can we remove the sacred site symbol when we enter into this mode? But these Springolds are going to get taken out, and this is really bad for Don Artie because there's 2 mangonels that remain, and he's got a single Springold that is back there to try and take that out. So his only real option is to try and charge down these mangonels with the men-at-arms. That's really all that he's got left to it. I would suspect he probably keeps trying to train more Springolds. We do see more coming out for him now, but keep in mind he is behind on the economy by about 20 villages or so at this point in time. He's going up against the French, and even though he's got the King's Palace, he's obviously lost quite a few villages throughout the game to those Royal Knights, and now up towards the north, it looks like Don going to be doing a bit of raiding himself. There is no outpost that's up here. He's just got a couple of Royal Knights, which he's going to be running into very shortly. These men-at-arms should make very light work of them if he wakes up in time. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to, and they just run past. They sort of say g'day to each other, and off they go. So there you have it. Looks to potentially be moving up towards this north position. Might even get out of Ram. Has Don got it researched? I'm pretty sure he would. Indeed he does. So looking to get +1 now. Going to be going for Bloomery, then probably going to be looking to grab the 2nd tier upgrade. Another curious outpost here from Don. Not the first time in the game, but now getting that line of sight network really out. So obviously wants to try and get this this network of castles out on the map as far as he can. Those men-at-arms at the north, going to be running into some villages, but unfortunately going to be running into a lot of arbaletier as well, and not having too much success here. So losing what appeared to be about 3 or 4 men-at-arm there, and they are going to indeed go down. A lot of armor on these bad boys, though. Keep that in mind. They are sitting on 8 armor. Arbaletier, on the other hand, got 7 armor, or rather 8 armor now. 8 melee armor. Just absolutely crazy the numbers these guys can get up to. And obviously also have the Pavis, which can increase that by a further 5. Scout down towards the south, going to get taken out. GUA's outpost here also going to get pushed on as well. A couple of Royal Knights moving in towards the farm that's been placed out towards this direction, and so many farms getting placed down for Don Artie right now. He is sitting on how many farms? 41 farms, and that's a lot of farms. The Royal Knights continue to run in. 6 armor on them at the moment, so they're going to take barely any damage. And now it looks like GUA is the one that's trying to force back the forces of his opponent. Got to be so careful when you're running through these forests. You've got absolutely no line of sight. You don't know where your enemy could be or what they could potentially have. But now up towards the north, it looks like Don going to be spotting out this gold mine from his opponent. Going to see that there wasn't a lot of villages on it, or at least didn't appear to be a lot of villages on it. So not a whole lot there to be gathered. But now GUA making a bit of a mistake in the middle. He's got extra villages here that he was throwing away towards the boar, but it looks like his opponent Don has just decided he's going to pick them up instead. The boar remains individual and impartial to this game at this stage. Another Royal Knight down towards the south on the gold mine, going to cause a huge idol there for Don Artie. So he's got 18 villages there, as well as the 5 that are inside that are going to be forced off that. Only 117, and Don actually in a bit of a difficult spot. He hasn't scattered this gold mine behind his base, and he doesn't really have anywhere else to go for gold other than in the front here. But keep in mind, these are quite exposed, very easy for these mangonels to move in. Now the Springolds of his opponent are beginning to come down towards Don Artie. This is where it starts to get concerning, because Don doesn't have the mangonels that his opponent's got. He's got a lot of men-at-arms that are out, but the arbaletier numbers of his opponent are looking good. We'll head into the cinematic mode as we watch those Springolds move forward, trying to get the shots off. They take out the first Springold. The Springolds are moving forward and going to manage to take out the second one, and they have achieved everything that they needed to do. The mangonels are going to be looking to stay alive, trying their best to get these damage. The mangonels shots coming through. We'll take a look at the health points of Don Artie's longbows as he manages to take down the majority of forces of his opponent on the front line. He remains only the range bonus, and a huge volley comes right now for those mangonels. They're doing a great job, and slowly but steadily picking off the armed forces, or the melee forces here of his opponent. The 3 mangonels all survive, and Don is in a very difficult position right now because he's lost all of his Springolds. He's lost the Springold battle, and now without with the support of the mangonels, GUA is going to have so much more firepower than he is going to have. I'm curious to see how Don is going to be able to pull himself out of this ditch. Have a look at the score difference between these two players. Don down about 1,600 points at this point in time. We'll switch it over to income per minute so you guys can see how far ahead each respective player is. GUA up by about 1,400 gold a minute at this point. And GUA actually coming and mining out the gold on his opponent's side of the map and saying, hey, that is going to be my gold, thank you very much. And GUA putting his opponent into a difficult position now as these 17 villagers move down towards his south. If he loses this, it's going to take him down to 61 villagers, and he is going to be in a significant villager deficit considering his opponent is on 86 villagers at this point in the game. Huge mass beginning to build for GUA. He's up on 194 population compared to the 125 of his opponent. I've really got no idea how Don is going to be able to pull himself out of this, and these villagers unfortunately are all going to be murdered by the veteran Royal Knights of his opponent. Rest in peace, villagers. And down to 69 villagers. Don was on for a brief moment. Briefly. Nice. Briefly. But now, the monastery going to be burnt down. Now, speaking of monastery, I don't think we've got any relics that have been taken this game. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 relics in the middle of the map. Could have potentially taken a 5th relic. We are obviously having a sacred site taken up towards the north. Yeah, there's 1 relic in this monastery for GUA at this point in time. So 30 minutes into the game and the first monk is coming out. Yeah, a little bit of a late timing on the religious units. Arbalatrier going to be able to take down the men-at-arms as the men-at-arms slowly but steadily takes out the villager. And now back towards the base of Don Artie. He continues to be under siege. This is such a difficult mass to deal with. And the reason why is because against the Arbalatrier, the best thing that you can have are mangonels. You can't really make mangonels into this. Why can't you make mangonels into this? Well, because your opponent's got so many freaking siege units already. 5 mangonels, 3 springles out for him. Huge raids going down, controlling all of your gold. And it looks like Don may have found the gold behind his base. Still hasn't found the gold behind his base. It really hurts Don, doesn't it? And he's gonna spot it now. I think he just sent this knight out to go do a bit of searching. And it's gonna be a little bit too late, I suspect, because Don is definitely getting put into a difficult spot. And just keep in mind, this is a tournament game, so if Don was wanting to tap out, it's going to be more delayed in a tournament game because money is on the line. So it's important to consider that that Don might even think the game is over himself, but he's still going to be trying, still going to be keeping on, still trying to, win this game because at the end of the day, money's on the line. So we'll take a look at how he's doing. GUA just all over the map at the moment. We'll have a look from his perspective. He is just very happy. He looks like he might be heading up to Imperial, and indeed he is. He's on the way up. College of Artillery going down for him now as well. And he's done a lot of damage. He's pushed in, but I think he knows not to overplay his hand. He's going up to the next stage. I might as well push in with elite units, he says. So I think that's a smart idea. He's also going to be cutting off his opponent up towards the north here, as a little bit of a counter-attack was being attempted by Don. Manages to take out so many of these knights, and really, I've got to say the Arbalatrier mass coming out here from GUA is impressive. I think this is where the meta is going to be heading. I think it's going to be a lot of crossbows that you're going to see. Crossbows, mangonels, springles. That's where it's really going to be at. Because typically we do see men-at-arms, we do see knights, and these guys are the natural counters to them. But obviously these are gold-heavy units as well. They're not trash, and it means that you're going to be paying quite the price for them. Up towards the north, it looks like the sacred site is going to get neutralized up there by Don Artie's villager, and is being tracked, GUA tracking him around the north side of the base, and trying his best to get in here. Just going to stop. And what was that? That was absolutely wild. I can't believe that just happened. One player stopped, and then the other player turned around and walked towards him. So it was a very curious interaction right there. But GUA, his base is looking pretty decent at this point. He's sitting on 86 villages, still 110 military pop, obviously up in the Imperial Age. So many siege units out. We'll take a look and see what upgrades we've got coming through. We've got Elite Arbalatrier coming out, Siege Works. We've got Crossbow Stirrups coming in. We've got Tithe Barns coming in, because why the heck not? Get all your upgrades in GUA. You're in Imperial now, mate. You can afford to. Behind this, we've also got Incendiary Arrows going to be coming in. So they... Oof. Ouch. That was a knight going down to a mangonel. So these elite Arbalatrier are really going to be going ham. Let's have a look and see how far away that is from completion. Yet to get that +3 attack, and also getting a castle down towards the south. Looks like he's got a relic in the back there. Actually, I thought it was a relic in the back, but it was just a relic. There was nothing in the back. But now going to be heading down towards this castle. No boiling oil coming through just yet. Villagers are inside it. So this could be a turning point in the game potentially. GUA, got to be careful. There is a springle down here that is firing in on the mangonel. Archers looking to get in a bit of damage on this Mangonel before it gets off another shot. They are going to be able to do so successfully, managing to take it out, getting off a nice little split here as well, and now going to be falling back. And the villagers trying their best to heal this one up while Don is not paying attention. But GUA behind this looking incredibly strong. Don got quite the economy though, I will say that much. Obviously, all of his villagers now getting murdered down here. Down to 52 villagers for GUA, so he's got to be careful. He's ahead on the military front, 107 versus 64. But those numbers are still relatively close by. My main concern is that there's no Mangonels for Don. If Don had the Mangonels, I would be in a totally different position, or he would be in a totally different position right now, but he doesn't. His opponent is the one with the Mangonels. His opponent is the one with 6 Mangonels, 3 Sprignolds, and that's just really what makes the difference in these fights. And Don Artie now getting pushed up against the wall. Look at how many Mangonels are out right now. These guys look awesome with their big spoons on their backs, firing down on the Council Hall. Council Hall going down to 4,000 health, and Don going to be under a bit of siege right here as GUA also looks to drop down some rams. Incendiary arrows, have we got those in just yet? Let's take a look and see. F6, let's press that button. Yeah, incendiary arrows has come in, so these guys are going to be firing off their fire arrows. Look at the damage that comes out for these guys. 20 base damage, 11 versus heavy. That is so much damage. Couple knights getting picked up here as well. What Don doesn't realize at this point is that he needs to just be making, like, quite literally full horsemen. He shouldn't be making knights, because the knights are going to get, you know, that extra damage taken against them from the elite arbaletier. They're going to be taking 31 damage, whereas a crossbow would only be taking 20 damage. So that's something to consider. But now Don in a bit of a difficult spot. This is his second landmark. His first one's already been dropped. The second one was actually killed earlier, but has since been rebuilt. But if he loses his town center, he does potentially lose his game, as now the forces come out. The men-at-arms going to be sieging down the battering rams. Villagers getting pulled as well. We'll enter into the cinematic mode and watch as Don tries to do his best, getting a pretty bad concave, or pretty decent concave there, GUA does, as he falls back towards his siege. You can see the villagers running in towards there, trying to get an angle. The longbow's up towards the north, still yet to be taken out by those Mangonels as the shots begin to rain down supreme. The battering ram still remains there, and villagers get called towards the front. My concern is that if this town center goes down, the game might end, because he has already lost this landmark once. And now those villagers continue moving forward. Oh, the villagers! Gotta be so damn careful, but the villagers, oh my lord, they managed to take out a single Mangonel, and on the front line, it looks like Don Artie has tapped out. Good game gets called, and GUA wins the first game between these two as part of the Winter Championship, hosted by EGC TV. Now, fellas, if you're interested in seeing more of this type of content, I'm going to leave a link in the description to EGC TV's Discord. I want you guys to go check them out. Go say g'day, and we'll have a quick look at these graphs before we go, so you can see some of the turns throughout this game. This is where GUA lost a whole bunch of villagers when he was attempting to heal up that castle, and you can see that push coming through at the end. Don going down to 20 villagers, so not the prettiest of sights. Military count, very, very similar story there. You can just see the difference that the Mangonels make. It is all the Mangonels that really win those games. So unfortunate from Don not getting enough Springalds out, but there you go, fellas. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.